TV, anime, video games, books, Star Trek, Marvel, My Hero, Hook. It don't matter what you into, don't matter what you do, here on Nerd Shit, we got something for you.
Welcome back to Hypothetically Sound presents Nerd Shit, where we talk about nerd shit. It is Walking Dead Wednesday. Hope you guys are doing good. How are you two doing?
Pretty good.
I was doing good.
Okay, so it's been a little bit. We switched over to a singular podcast with different topics on it. And so we finally have a fresh new episode coming out for you guys, and this is it. So yeah, we are on, in case everybody who's listening is not caught up, we are on season 2, episode called Secerts. It is the 6th episode of the 2nd season, as I said. And so yeah, do you guys want me to start like we always do with the plot of the episode?
Yeah,
That's what you're good at doing.
Okay, so in case you guys haven't listened before, I give you the plot, and then we talk about it. So here we go. After Glenn inadvertently discovers the presence of walkers in the grain barn, Maggie begs him to keep it a secret. Dale quickly notices Glenn's nervousness, and when he talks privately to Glenn, Glenn blurts out about the walkers as well as his knowledge that Lori Grimes is pregnant. Dale confronts Hershel about the walkers. Hershel believes that they are still people, including his wife and stepson, and they could be cured, and refuses to kill them even after Dale explains the dangers of walkers. While this is all going on, Rick, Shane, and T-Dog are giving gun lessons to the other survivor. Shane takes Andrea aside to give her advanced training after seeing how good she was during the practice, but she is unable to hit moving targets. Shane tries to encourage her by telling her to remember her dead sister Amy, but this only causes Andrea to storm away. Meanwhile, Rick and Lori are arguing about what to do with Hershel's demand that everybody must leave now that Carl is healed. As the episode goes on, Shane and Andrea go off back into town because Shane finds a lead on Sophia, but is overrun by walkers. They escape after they both go guns a-blazing, and then they have sex. Dale senses something amiss and warns Shane to stay away from Andrea, as well as his suspicions of what really happened to Otis while Shane and him went searching for medical supplies. Shane denies accusations and threatens to shoot Dale if he should make any more. Maggie and Glenn discuss the walker situation on the farm, with Maggie sharing the same attitude as her father, Hershel. They go on another supply run as Lori's request, specifically looking for the morning after pill. At the pharmacy, Maggie is attacked by a walker, but Glenn intervenes and subdues it before it harms Maggie. Back on the farm, Maggie confronts Lori about being almost killed due to her request for the morning after pill, and tells Glenn that the rest of the group sees him as walker bait. Glenn tells her that Lori should tell Rick about her pregnancy soon. Lori contemplates the act of raising a child in the post-apocalyptic world and decides to take the morning after pill, but after a moment runs away from their camp to immediately throw them up. Rick then sees the pills to go find Lori, who admits she was in a relationship with Shane before Rick came back to the group, and Rick reveals that he had already known about the affair. It was a big episode. A lot of stuff happened in it.
I was gonna say that's all we have time for.
A lot of stuff happened, a lot of moving parts, a lot of plot points moved on. Let's start at the beginning. Last episode ended with Glenn finding the walkers in the barn, and then obviously this one starts with them discussing said walkers. What did you think about the barn full of walkers? Did you see that coming?
No. Up until that point, the barn was I think they did a very good job kind of diverting the attention of it while also being like, this is a thing, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was always showing in the, in a lot of the scenes in the background up until now. You'd see things walking by, or they'd be around doing chores, and the barn would be in the background.
Which is a great plot point, and just the whole movie TV show thing is the thing that you should be paying attention to. You don't, because it's just seen as background noise, as you do in real life. Things that you should notice, you just put off because it's supposed to be there. A barn is supposed to be on a farm, so you're not paying attention to said barn. But if you had made some makeshift housing to store them in, that would have been more suspicious, and people probably would have been looking right away.
True.
Were you surprised on how quickly Glenn just gave up the information? Like, I don't even think it was a day. I think the whole farm's like side plot point only lasts 2 weeks. Like they're on the farm for only 2 weeks, so he didn't even last a day with this information of walkers after Maggie told him to not tell anybody.
Well, at this point, Glenn's still young. He's admitted that he just kind of never really had any friends. I mean, he just did his own thing. And he's with people that he's starting to feel like they're family to him. And he doesn't want to disappoint anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the worst. I mean, his character is the worst for someone to tell a secret to. He has no way to hold any expressions on his face.
Very true. He plays it very well.
Yeah,
he wrote the character very well.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's young. I'm surprised he made it out of the room when he found out. It didn't get spilled almost instantly. Now,
here's the question I have: if it was anybody else, you think she pushes that person into the barn? Like, say she was just walking, doing her rounds, because I'm assuming they do rounds on that barn to make sure it's locked up. Do you think she pushes anybody else in that barn to keep it a secret?
No,
because she still believes, like with Hershel, that they're individuals or people. They can't, they're not there to harm you. And if she was to push anyone, or if they were to put anyone in the barn, them to face walkers, that would be against what they believe in. They think there's a cure.
So wouldn't that be a reason to push him in? If it's just a cure, that person get bit, turn to walker, and you can cure him later. And say, I was just trying to keep it a secret.
But they're not, I mean, it's so much, they're not trying to keep it a secret. They think they're keeping the people safe, and they know how Rick and that group all feel about walkers. They've seen what they've done. So now they're just trying to protect. And if one of them was missing, like with them out looking for
Sophia.
For Sophia, it would just cause more, well, I saw him going in the direction over there, or, they'd be going more places. And then that barn could be discovered faster.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I was just curious if you thought she would, to protect the secret, to protect the walkers or family, if she would give up someone else that she barely knows. Just curious.
Yeah. And what did you think of the way that Glenn made up lies, when he was trying to cover stuff?
He's, like you said, he's young. He said the first thing that came to his mind. He didn't think deeply about these lies. He is the quintessential, at least at that time, he was a quintessential 18-year-old. They wrote it very well.
So when, Dale found out, he was immediately going and went to everybody to try to approach him and make it seem like it was stuff he discovered. Because, Dale's all about protecting the kids in the group. Because he confronted Dale confronted Hershel, and then he went and talked to Lori. And then he went, and when he saw Shane, he was confronting Shane about stuff that he had noticed and saw in the past, with him sighting Rick with his gun, and about Otis.
Dale's problem, and why I'm surprised he didn't get killed earlier. He instead of going to, he's clearly not the leader. People listen to him on certain things, but he's not the go-to person to solve a conflict. But you clearly see Rick as a leader of your group. Why didn't he go to Rick with any of these concerns? And I get Shane's his best friend, but at the same time, you bring these concerns to the person who you consider a leader.
Yeah. In the comics, wasn't Dale's character supposed to be like Rick's confidant?
I don't know. I haven't read the comic. I
Yeah,
thought he
I think.
died early on.
Oh, because I think at one point there was a comment made somewhere that Dale was supposed to be his confidant, was supposed to be the person. There's a lot of stuff that differs in the comics, and I think that's what they were trying to create Dale's character to be. But it just wasn't. There were other connections and other better suited personalities and chemistry with other people, and that they were able to go in another direction.
I feel like when it comes to adapting Walking Dead, it is very similar to the Game of Thrones. They stayed pretty consistent for like a season and like a couple episodes, and then they went and did their own thing. So,
True.
like, obviously, with certain characters being in the show that weren't in it, certain characters lived longer, some dying earlier. They went and did their own thing, but they're very not strict on staying with source material. And so, like, I didn't even read the graphic novel at all. I think I got to the point where it differed, and I was just like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. And I think that's the main reason that a lot of shows and stuff do that, and movies even, is because you got the people that have read the books, but then they still want to make it their own, and they still want to make it more interesting. And some of them even take it like in a different direction. The what if.
Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on with the episode. What did you think about the whole Shane and Andrea mini arc of the
Bro,
episode?
bro, that's just burned to my mind. It was so graphic for no reason.
Do you think Shane? I don't think Shane really. They talked about going to the town, but I think the main reason that Shane took Andrea there was to push her past everything she was going through. I think that's one of the only good things he did for with Andrea's character, was to make her have to deal with something live in her face instead of just fumbling around and being in denial on a lot of stuff.
I think it's part of it. I think it was more of a sink or swim situation since last episode she said that she wanted to leave with Shane. I think Shane needed to see if she could if she was going to be a burden or not. And so she went and froze up, like, cool, she could shoot when things are standing still and there's no pressure. But if she freezes up when there's pressure, he wasn't going to take her.
I'm just
And
glad he did that after she shot Daryl.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think it was clearly nothing Shane does is random. So it was clearly Shane testing to see what she would do because he didn't have no trace on Sophia. He gave up on her after day one.
Yep.
The sex probably just it's like, yeah, I need to bang someone else and get Lori out my memory type
Bro,
thing.
the scene was so unnecessary. It showed her grabbing his holder for no reason. Like, they could have suggested. No, they had to do it.
Right? They could have been seen through the window of the car from the other angle.
I was an innocent little high schooler when that came out.
When were you ever innocent?
If you were Rick and Lori and Carl's healed and Hershel is pushing the demand on you to leave, do you handle it like Rick did? Do you become forceful and try to take over the farm? How do you handle that situation?
I think Rick handled it masterclass, bro.
Yeah.
I think taking over the farm is definitely. I mean, he just healed your kid, right?
Yeah.
Taking, like, if anything, as like in Rick and Lori's position, you owe it to him, and I guess technically Shane too, because Shane at this point kind of sees like Lori as his and Carl as his too, right?
Yeah.
Like, you owe it to this man, like, at least the one thing. And if it's that one thing, it's not taking over the camp or the farm.
No, I agree.
Eye for an eye, life for a life type deal.
Yeah, and it's still early on, so there's not been any other confrontation type things like that for them to know what's happening out there in other places.
And I feel like you found a location that is sustainable. And I think with your group, you could probably fortify it more. Like you guys can go out, cut down some trees, put up some spiked like trenches type stuff, even build a moat. Like you guys spend a good couple months making a moat around the place. Probably can live your time out there pretty decently. So yeah, I think you handle like Rick and you do everything in your power. You beg, you plead, you drop on your knees if he asks you to keep your kid and wife there and your group there. Because it is on at that point mostly untouched. You have woods around you, so like sound's gonna not travel as far to the highway and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, hasn't it only been like a month into the apocalypse? Like,
yeah, it has not been very long.
And so, like, this is like the first normalcy they've had.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if this was like the Tall Tales Walking Dead, yeah, you take that farm over.
Yeah. If this is
kill everybody.
If this is season 4 or 5, or even if like they definitely, I think there's no hesitation. These people are so innocent and dumb to the world. Yeah, you take it over in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the farm in Tall Tale Tall Tales, yeah. And that in the game is they're cannibals. So
you definitely take that over. Then
yeah.
I'm the cannibal. No, I'm joking.
That's weird.
So,
and then,
so with them,
just because you eat meat now doesn't mean you'll eat meat.
So with them going and having the whole discussion with Carl when with the shooting lessons,
mm-hmm.
What did you guys think about having Carl learn how to shoot? Would you wanted it done there, or would you have said, "Hey, let's just wait it out"?
No, everybody needs to learn how to. It should have been more than just shooting. It should have been. He should have made spears. Like at this point that the only way to kill them is the head. Mm-hmm. So you teach everybody hand-to-hand combat. Like Rick and Shane should have been accustomed to it. Darrow even should know how to fight, so he could teach people how to hand-to-hand combat. Like guns, obviously you should do it, but you need the ammo, so they reserved it. And just taught people. And I think that's it. I think if you're in that situation, there are 3 people on your team that are trained. Like 2 are super trained. The other one has been hunting and doing stuff his whole life. Those 3 are the only people who should have had guns. You train the rest in hand-to-hand combat and like let the 3 people shoot. And if a zombie gets too close, boom, boom, you stab it in his head.
Yeah, but like at this point, I don't think they had an issue with ammo too much. So like,
true. And again, it is a month in, so like, yeah. True. Yeah.
So also, here's my other question.
I think it's a bad idea to only regulate 3 people with guns, because what happens if one of those 3 people go AWOL? Like that doesn't happen this season. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Or like in a scenario where they get trapped, you lose one of them. Now you just lost guns, and now you just have people that aren't as competent with guns. Because you wanted to monopolize it on the 3 people. I think that's a bad idea. I think everyone needs to learn.
One of them go down. If one of them go down, it's because your fortified wall of spear holders is dead as well. So who needs the guns at that point?
This reminds me of the South Park episode where they go to war and they send all the black people on the front line. That's what you're doing. It's like everyone who's never held a gun before the zombie apocalypse is just a frontliner.
I am learning from 300. You have your shields in front, and then your people who do the damage behind the shields that poke through. Only they're shooting through.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you're an awful leader. I would not follow that.
I know it would make me the leader. It's the first time I would suggest something, it would sound stupid, and I would be put in a dunce cap in the corner.
I'm glad you understand this. Stop giving suggestions on what you would do, because no one would listen.
That's when I go and make my own group.
Okay, well, it was nice knowing you, because I'm sticking with the military people.
Oh, we know how that ends in The Walking Dead world.
I also know for you, sir. Honestly, it's a 50-50 toss-up at that point. Like, anyways, what were you saying, Mom? Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, so with part of the other question I had with the training is, so you see pretty much everyone out there. Do you ever see Lori or Glenn practicing in all the scenes that they've done up to now when everyone's out there learning how to shoot. I can't recall Lori ever being out there doing target practice or Glenn.
No.
No. I think it's one of those assumption deals, like you're assuming if like you're only seeing this training session. And so like they're training them different things or Glenn is being trained differently since he is the runner. He's being trained differently to do things. So, or they've already trained him since he's the runner. He needs to know how to shoot. And then maybe they're just assuming since Lori is the husband of a cop plus Shane that she also knows how to shoot.
Husband?
I was just curious.
Husband.
Yeah, she is a husband. She wears the pants in that family.
It is 2012.
Oh, she takes.
It is 2011.
Rick was gone for a week. A week. It's one hell of a rebound. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, look, Glenn doesn't even need a gun. He handled that walker with ease and saved his girl's life in the store, anyways. So,
yeah, he's used to having
would have been
be
easier if he had a gun.
Yeah, well, yeah, but then it would have drawn more. So he probably, I mean, I can see him not training because he definitely would be one that would be hands-on because he's puts himself in situations or he's running into stores and stuff. And, so he can't have anything that attracts attention.
Mm-hmm.
With that scene, do you think, before they went in there and Glenn and Maggie were kind of arguing about the barn and, how she viewed, because she had the same view as her dad about that, her being her mom and her stepbrother in there, or her brother and stepmom. And when she was in the store and being attacked, do you think that is when her view on Walker started to change? Because Glenn had been the whole way telling her they're not human and all they want to do is kill you.
I think deep down she knew. There's no way you don't, right? There's like deep down, there's no way you don't know. They're just like have this weird, not delusion, or maybe Hershel at the time, delusion, but they have this weird like expectation that like there would be a cure for them at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they hence why they put them in the barn. And like I don't know if they do it later in the series, but there are like people who have them chained up next to them, essentially, right? Like instead of having them in the next room, they have a bunch of them in the barn, and they know they have to keep them in the barn because otherwise it's too dangerous for them to have them out. Like, yeah, if that makes sense.
Like, yeah, I think they understand the dangers of them.
They just
don't think killing is a necessary consequence of becoming a walker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't see needing to dispose of these people when they can lock them up, feed them, and keep them, in their mind, alive until... Because, again, they're, like, they probably don't think the whole world is down. They probably think their area is down.
Yeah.
They don't know everything that the group knows, that Rick knows.
And it's real different for them, too, since they are self-sustained farm. Like, they have their own animals and stuff, so they don't ever have to really worry about going to town ever, or...
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think they're like one apocalypse away from being the Hills Have Eyes family. Like, now I think about it, they're kind of on that path.
Like, yeah, Maggie clearly is the smart one. She's the most, like, traveled of the family. So, like, I think she understands what is really happening and understands, like, this is a possibility. Yeah, of course, like, there is a possibility that a cure is out there. You don't know what someone else is working on. But I think she also understands that push comes to shove, she will get rid of them to save her dad or her family.
Yeah, her family presides over everything. The roots are strong.
Now we're about to get the most political we'll get on this podcast of nerd shit.
Yes, the answer is
You're
yes.
you would take the morning after pill?
Yes. Sorry, I figured that's what it's about. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I don't think raising a kid in the apocalypse is a good idea. Especially when you don't have hope in yourself.
Mm-hmm. When you're you've already seen one kid get shot by another human, even
Also,
accidentally.
Dawn of the Dead 2008, the one that takes place in Wisconsin.
The baby coming, yeah.
Like honestly, like at this point they don't know it. What if something happened to the kid and it was stillborn? They'd find out.
Sure.
Rick knows. That's the issue. Rick knows, actually, right?
Yeah.
So Rick knows, which means as soon as the baby is formed enough, if it makes it that far, to be alive, if it dies, it's eating her from the inside out. Like,
yeah, no, I don't think there's like outside of moral reasons, you can't give me like if we're scaling this, the hands of scales are tilted to taking the morning after pill substantially. Because you can't give me good reasons to other than morally, I don't want to kill a baby. You can't give me a reason to bring a baby into this world, especially in such a like.
bro.
You don't know what's happening. You don't know if it's going to be your future, if it's going to be fixed. You can still have a baby. If it's fixed in a year from now, you can have a baby again. Like clearly, you have the ability to have a baby. So taking this morning after pill is not going to kill your ability to have one later on. If you were told forever that you couldn't have a baby, like it was impossible, and then all of a sudden you have this miracle baby, okay, your reason for keeping it is higher. But in a world where you don't know tomorrow, there's no reason to.
Bro, it's really weird that like it's a point of contention, in my opinion. Just because like it's in the setting and it's not in Texas, so like they're double safe. in the setting, you're in a sound sensitive area with no guarantee. Like they just almost got kicked out because Glenn opened his fucking mouth and said something, right?
Yeah.
So like in this setting, there's no guarantee you're going to be in a safe spot in 9 months to give birth. You have no medical equipment, no sanitation. Like there's a chance that the kid doesn't make it to full term, right?
I mean, yeah, babies now isn't it like only like a 90% success rate on births nowadays? Like with
I don't be having babies all the time, unfortunately, or thankfully. Wrong word. I be having baby all the time, so I don't know. I honestly don't. But like as humans, we're just pretty accustomed to modern technology. Most of us don't know like what to do.
Yeah, I just know there is a decent percentage chance of pregnancy not working out, even with our medical advances. So, like you said, having it in a world like this drops significantly.
You got like all the issues a child could have after coming out. You know what I'm saying? And that you just now don't have the ability to like make sure the kid makes it.
Yeah.
Like there's just a lot that could go wrong really quickly.
Yeah, I think it just came, the timing that they put it in there is the dilemma that viewers were seeing is, okay, so you're just starting out in this, you don't know if it's something that's going to keep going and how long it's going to go, or maybe they still had hope that there was a safe place somewhere. So then do you just say, because your morals are that you just can't do it, because there are people out there that feel it happened for a reason, and I can't take a life, even knowing that the life that child will have is not going to be good, even knowing that it may kill you, or that it may get you killed.
Bro, I don't know. I feel like having the kid is if that's their stance, it's like, I can't take a life. You're having a kid without with the knowledge that you don't know if the world's going to go back to normal
Right.
and or get worse.
So, okay, so what is that movie? What is it? The Mist, where they go out and they're in the car
Yes,
at the end of
he
the
kills
movie.
his kid, and it
Okay,
turns out
and then
it's
all of a
fake.
sudden, because they think they're about to die.
Yeah, this isn't directed by M. Night
No,
Shyamalan.
no. But I'm just saying, the ending on that was they thought that it was done. So, how that ended, and all of a sudden it was help coming, and he had to realize that he took the lives of his family. And so you don't with
He
this.
made. I will die on this hill. He made the right choice.
Well, I know. No, I'm not saying he didn't, because it would be way better than what they were seeing happen. But with this, what's happening now, because it's so fresh on with the Walking Dead, and
Hold on,
these episodes.
but for this group specifically, it's not fresh. This group specifically went to a specialized unit and were told they're doomed.
Yeah, this dude in the CDC killed himself.
Yeah,
like the dude who should be able to help solve this problem decided to give up instead of moving to a different CDC. Like that was an option he never considered. This group comes, they're surviving, they're out in the world. He knows this, they're moving. He could have said, "Hey guys, I'm out of power here. There's a CDC in Florida. Let's go there."
But he also just figured that if his CDC didn't work, with his wife sacrificing herself and they just couldn't find anything, that no one else could before communications went out AWOL. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So it was an option he never gave. So that should tell you how hopeless the situation was. And something else that it would be different in this world that people would have to consider is it's not just her baby. Like in this situation, as a part of that group that is fighting for survival, in today's world, in a real world scenario, like this wouldn't be a conversation. It would be the woman's choice. The woman and the father's choice, but mostly the woman's choice.
Mm-hmm.
In that scenario, it is the choice of the group.
Honestly, yeah. The group
has to do it's with either you decide you can keep this on your own, the group has the right to kick you out and make you go on your own if they disagree with your choice.
Yeah, because you can't, keep a baby from, be quiet, don't say nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a liability.
Like, it's just an unfortunate fact of a world where everything is trying to kill you. Like, you wouldn't keep a baby in a quiet place. Like, she tried, killed her husband. Spoiler alert.
You're supposed to say spoiler alert first.
Yeah, it's just a really unfortunate scenario. And it's like Rand said, it doesn't mean later on you can't. It doesn't, even in that situation, like in the scenario of the apocalypse, it doesn't mean later on you can't. They find, places that are secure enough to have a child.
Mm-hmm. Or that, if you knew the farm, you could secure, like, I know he obviously in the next episodes, that's what he tries to do. But at that instant, you're being told to leave. So that means you're going to be out in the world where hordes of zombies are.
Mm-hmm. And you don't know what's out there for safety and where you can go and what you're going to find.
Mm-hmm. So it's just irresponsible.
Mm-hmm.
And this episode, we've done well. It's been pretty long. We'll end with the final bombshell of this dense episode. Do you think Rick knew instantly when he first arrived and saw his family, or did he?
Oh, he knew.
Learn as he spent time with everybody.
As close as he was with Shane, he knew when the way Shane looked at him, and then the way Lori, kind of paused before she came up to him and hug him when she first saw him.
Mm-hmm.
There was a hesitation, and then the look on Shane's face, and they looked at each other.
No, I agree. He knew. It's I don't think he suspected it. I think he probably thought she got out with Carl alone. I think as soon as he hopped out, he saw his family, and then out of his peripheral saw Shane. He knew.
Yeah.
He instantly knew then.
Can't be
But
friends
I
with
don't
someone
think,
that long and not know
yeah,
how he is.
I don't think he had like no thought that in this week that he's been gone, like she moved on to some random person. But Shane wasn't random. He like as soon as he saw it, he was like in his mind, he was like she was saved by him. He's probably comforted her with everything that's going on. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
Any last tidbits you want to add for the episode of Secrets?
No.
Nope. I think we covered a lot. And good discussions too.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently, this episode was critically acclaimed. It's apparently still, to a lot of people, one of the best episodes of the Walking Dead series. They thought this was a turning point, and obviously had its controversy with a lot of religious groups.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But we want to thank you guys for listening to Walking Dead Wednesday. We hope that you enjoyed the episode. Make sure to like, share, comment, post us all on your socials, tell people to listen to the series. And until next time.
Until next time.
Until
Next time, see y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Hypothetically Sound. We hope you enjoyed the episode. All episodes can be found at hypotheticallysound.podbean.com, as well as on Apple, Spotify, and Pandora. For full unedited video versions of the podcast, please visit us at youtube.com/hypotheticallysound.